Hello, gentle marketers. Welcome to this mini-muse episode during the month of August. As I hinted at in the final episode, last episode, episode 99, I will be sharing these very, very short episodes over the next few weeks to gently unveil the new brand and kind of tell you the behind the scenes, what was going on in my head and how did I, find a new term? What did I learn along the way and all of that? So this is the first kind of these mini episodes. So if you remember, if you haven't listened to episode 99, maybe that's a good place to start. But basically 2 weeks after launching the Gentle Marketing Revolution, I had received a cease and desist letter telling me that I had to, with immediate effect, stop using the term gentle marketing because it was deposited as a trademark. I was completely lost. I just didn't think that was even possible. In Europe, we're not so big on trademarks, that it's done for the big corporations, like if you're Nestle or Logitech, yes, of course you have trademarks, but as entrepreneurs, it's not a common thing to protect your brands unless you come up with a product, then that's something else. But to kind of create a trademark about a term, and to me, like this idea of owning a term, which is kind of a common term in the English vocabulary, that was just mind-blowing. I couldn't comprehend it. So, but yet that's what it was. It was, this or letting it go or fighting it. And as I explained in the last episode, I was not going to fight it. That was just not feeling good at all. So immediately after my decision to say, okay, fine, I'll find something new, I started looking for a new term. And Tony, my husband, will testify that that was just a fortnight of pure anxiety, sleepless nights, and self-doubt. I was completely lost. I didn't know how to start over. For me, it felt like there was a lot of work. It was just this giant mountain ahead of me. And I thought about all the things I had built, and everything, every little detail that I had to change, that it was saying gentle marketing, and I had to change it to this new term. But at the same time, what was overwhelming is this idea that I had to find a new term that no one else was using yet. Because when I started to kind of research this trademark mess, is that it's not enough if the trademark has not been deposited yet. The opponent can still claim under statutory law. Don't ask me what that is, but it basically means if they've used a term before you, even if it wasn't deposited, she or he still gets the right because they have used it first. So I really had to find a term that nobody had used yet in the context of marketing and business, because otherwise I would run the risk for this to happen again. So again, I'm trying to stay clear from sharing my personal opinions about this kind of outdated law. But in our current times where everything is global, that just blows my mind. That the idea of being able to own a word in a context that is global. And, fair enough, the lawyer clearly stated, no, my client only has the right for the US, but, the website is global. And so I'm like, well, how are we going to do this? She's like, well, you can't have clients in the US. And I said, but I run a global business. And so we came to the agreement that I would have a banner on my website that said, my gentle marketing is not related to her gentle marketing to avoid this confusion, because that's really what the trademark law is for, is like to avoid confusion. So I had to state that gentle marketing is a trademark in the US, a deposited trademark. And so I had this banner basically on all my pages for US visitors, which I guess I could have carried on like that, but it didn't feel good to me. Like I lost interest in gentle marketing. It just didn't feel that gentle anymore to me. It lost its positive energy. So that's probably also the reason why I wanted to walk away from it. But to go back to the idea of, that kind of this overwhelmed trying to find a term that represented everything that I thought of as gentle marketing and yet hadn't been used before. That was just really, really difficult because, as you can imagine, words like authentic and kind and mindful and compassionate, all these words had already been taken and people had been using them. So some of them were already deposited as trademarks, others weren't. But again, what I've learned from this, I'm like, well, I'm not going to be naive again a second time. So I really wanted to find something new. And many of you also asked me if I could have at least kept using the gentle business revolution, because after all, that's different from gentle marketing, right? Well, not according to this lawyer. She also wanted me to stop using related marks, as she called them. So gentle marketer, gentle marketing revolution, gentle business, etc. Could I have fought this decision in a court? Maybe. The two lawyers that I talked to were happy to try, and they're like, well, no, this is still different enough. But again, that would have led down the road of a possible lengthy legal disagreement, which I wanted to avoid at all costs. So anything gentle related to business and marketing was out of question. So that's kind of the intro. And in my next Muse episode, I will share where my reflection took me next. And I also wanted to let you know that I have a few paper copies of my Gentle Marketing Revolution book. So since I'll also be changing the cover and title, they have kind of become vintage. So if you would like me to send you a signed copy, please connect with me. Send me a message on LinkedIn, or if you're on my email list, just hit reply to one of these emails and I'd love to send you one. I think I priced them at $35, but I'm not sure anymore. So somewhere in that range, because I also have to include shipping. So thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next, or I speak to you next week when I kind of talk about the next step on this journey. Speak soon.